according to CBS News here, the United States deports a 95-year-old who was a Nazi concentration camp guard. You're going to love this. All right, check it out. A 95-year-old man who was a Nazi concentration camp guard during World War II has been deported from the United States to Germany, authorities announced on Friday. Friedrich Karl Berger, who lived in Tennessee, was deported, quote, for participating in Nazi-sponsored acts of persecution while serving at the concentration camp in 1945, the Justice Department said. Acting Attorney General Monty Wilkinson said in a statement that Berger's removal from the U.S. demonstrates the department's commitment to ensuring the United States is not a safe haven for those who have participated in Nazi crimes against humanity and other human rights abuses. So let me get this straight. Donald Trump, has he been deported? Has he been banished from the country? What about all of those people that murdered babies in cages over the last 4 years in ICE? What about all them? Are they going to be deported? Are they going to get their citizenship revoked? Tell me about this. So when I see this, I see a classic case of virtue signaling. This guy's about to die. His life is almost over. And they're going to deport him for some stupid glory story instead of holding the criminals in ICE, for example, accountable. By the way, remember when Joe Biden said he would stop deportations? Well, guess what? That hasn't stopped. They've continued to escalate. ICE has defied his executive orders, and Biden has capitulated like a fucking animal, like a craven and disgusting freak show, circus show motherfucker, and just said, yep, all right. Murder the kids, deport the babies, who gives a shit? We'll deport this Nazi who's 95 years old, by the way. In this year, in which we mark the 75th anniversary of the Nuremberg convictions, Wilkinson continued, this case shows that the passage, even of many decades, will not deter the department from pursuing justice on behalf of the victims of Nazi crimes. Berger is the 70th person identified as a Nazi persecutor to be removed from the U.S., according to the Department of Justice. Reminder, by the way, right? How did we get to the moon? Someone remind me. I'll wait for it. How did we get to the moon? All right. We had Nazi scientists work for NASA and got us to the moon. So that's fine. Right? What was that guy's name? Like Werner von Braun or some shit? That's fine. We can use Nazis to get to the moon. Right? But we can't hold ICE accountable right now for having concentration camps on the border right now? That's all we can only prosecute them 95 years later or 75 years later. It's like a reverse statute of limitations. You can only prosecute someone after 75 years, not before 75 years. A 2020 trial found that Berger served the Nazi regime at the Neuengamme subcamp near Meppen, Germany. My pronunciations are horrible. During the Holocaust, the judge who presided over the 2020 case was that Meppen prisoners, many of which were Jewish, Russian, Dutch, and Polish, were held at the camp in the winter of 1945. The conditions, the judge ruled, were atrocious. Wow. Thank you for that ruling. As the prisoners were forced to conduct labor outdoors to the point of exhaustion and death, the DOJ said. Prisoners at the Meppen-based camp were forced to build a so-called Freisenwall to protect the northern coast of Germany, according to the Foundation of Hamburg Memorials and Learning Centuries. On the day that the camp was evacuated, there were 1,773 imprisoned at the camp, the foundation says. All right. Berger worked at the camp until the Nazis evacuated it on March 1945, at which time the prisoners were forced to go to the main Neuengamme camp. The 2-week transfer was made in inhumane conditions, according to the DOJ. Wow, according to the DOJ. I'm glad that the Department of Justice is working so hard on this. And 70 people who were imprisoned died in the process. Berger admitted during the trial that he guarded the prison and prevented them from escaping, U.S. officials said. He also admitted he never requested to be transferred from his role as a concentration camp guard. To this day, the DOJ said Berger receives a pension from Germany for his past employment in the country, including his wartime service. Now that part's a little bizarre. That Germany is paying out. That's a little bizarre. He was removed from the 1978 Holtzman Amendment because of his, quote, willing service as an armed guard of prisoners at a concentration camp where persecution took place, the DOJ said. Acting Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE Director Ty Johnson said the department will never cease to pursue those who persecute others. This is why I wanted to read the whole article. The acting ICE director, the guy overseeing concentration camps at the border, right, who has been personally responsible for murdering children, is going to say, we will never cease to pursue those who persecute others. This case exemplifies, and by the way, look at CBS just reporting this as fact, by the way. CBS, right? Is there any asterisk? Lee Cohen, is there an asterisk somewhere? Can I find like, oh, by the way, ICE has committed war crimes? Is there a correction? Is there like, any extrapolation? Now we'll just print what they say, take it at face value. This case exemplifies the steadfast dedication of both ICE and the Department of Justice to pursue justice and to hunt relentlessly for those who participated in one of history's greatest atrocities. Cue the Spider-Man meme of them pointing at each other. Johnson said, no matter how long it takes.
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly. And the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. It's very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it. Because whoever thought of that idea, I think is in big trouble.
I like, seriously, this shit is mind-boggling. Right, I saw this in my news feed this morning, right? And I was like, oh, that's cool. Let me read the article. And then I scrolled down, and I was like, oh, they're quoting ICE. What the fuck? Like, they're quoting ICE! While saying that Nazis are evil, they're quoting ICE. The people that have murdered children at concentration camps on the border. I just, ugh. Thank you, Andrew, for the $4.99 super chat.
Make me president and I'll make ICE history.
All right, you heard it here first, folks.